Hello everyone, Ryan here again. Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs by Chuck Klosterman. I actually like this book. I would say I definitely ended up liking it more than I thought I would. And I really like Klosterman's writing style. You could say it's very satirical, humorous, introspective, maybe also a bit sardonic, I guess. Definitely witty. And in this book, he pretty much tackles a wide spectrum of topics concerning pop culture. And he's really good at pointing out various absurdities within different areas of pop culture, such as reality TV, music, even celebrities. And one of the things I liked that he wrote about was the fact that he, of course, doesn't find much merit in reality shows, which I tend to feel the same way. Except for, of course, he does mention the reality show that used to exist. I don't know if it still does. The Real World on MTV. I guess that was considered to be one of the first official reality shows, but especially the first season, the very first season, which I believe premiered in the early 90s. And I like that he was good at pointing out the fact that, at that time, reality shows were a very new concept, and nobody knew what to expect from them. Even the participants of this reality show of the first season of The Real World. And then he also proceeded to talk about the following seasons, in which people then became accustomed to what this show was all about. Not only that, but they became accustomed to what reality shows were all about. And then pretty much from then on, that's when you had all these, a slew of other reality shows, and which ultimately became scripted with the illusion of being unscripted. And of course that was something that I pretty much always knew, but I do realize that not much of the public is not aware of. Though I'm pretty sure come on, we all know that most of these reality shows are not unscripted. Most of them are, in fact, very much scripted, or if not, they're definitely rehearsed to some extent. So I like that he mentioned that in this book. In fact, pretty much, you could say that this book is more of a collection of essays and musings. Of course, his own thoughts on various aspects of society, with the focus being on pop culture. And I can definitely see how this book would not be for everybody. I will say that if you're the type of person that gets offended easily, I would say you probably most likely won't like this book, mostly because Klosterman tends to be very bold and very truthful. And at first, I will even admit there were some parts which I thought, when I took them at face value, to me it seemed like he was just trying to be flat out offensive. But then when I thought about it for a little while, I realized, no, he's not trying to be offensive on purpose. He's just pointing out the truth. And of course, as we all know, a lot of times the truth can be harsh. And so, yeah, definitely, if you're the type of person that, again, offends easily, probably won't like that aspect of his writing. But other than that, it's definitely well put together. I like that the way it's structured. It's structured kind of like a kind of like playlist, mixtape kind of way format. I can show you an example. That's another thing too. He also talks about the whole mixtape culture, which eventually evolved into CD mixed burn CD culture, and then eventually playlist culture. But there's a picture of supposed to be like a burned CD, and I think I'll go ahead and I'll read the first paragraph of the introduction here, because I think it's a nice setup for the entire book. So it starts with, there are two ways to look at life. Actually, that's not accurate. I suppose there are thousands of ways to look at life, but I tend to dwell on two of them. The first view is that nothing stays the same, and that nothing is inherently connected, and that the only driving force in anyone's life is entropy. The second is that everything pretty much stays the same, more or less, and that everything is completely connected, even if we don't realize it. So, yeah, I like that. Just that opening paragraph definitely sets up the entire book. Once again, I really enjoy this book. In fact, there are a lot of moments where I actually laughed out loud, and I definitely like books that can do that, that can make me laugh out loud, but especially make anybody laugh out loud. So yeah, I definitely recommend reading it, especially if you're into pop culture and you like books that are good at poking fun at certain aspects of society. All in all, again, it's definitely worth reading if you're into stuff that's not your typical thing. I give it overall 4 out of 5 stars, and I would have given it 5 stars except for the fact that I didn't like, kind of towards the end in one of the last few chapters, he pokes fun at Star Wars, and me being a big Star Wars fan, I will say I took some offense to that. But at the same time, he was good at explaining why he believed Star Wars can be looked at as this absurd thing. Ultimately, because Star Wars is intended for children. At least the original trilogy was intended for children, and now it's been turned into this big thing where everyone and anyone is into it, whereas before, really only kids were into Star Wars. So I mean, again, even though I took some offense to that, the fact that he was poking fun at Star Wars, but he was able to explain himself, so I like that. But still, yeah, I mean, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, definitely read it if you haven't already. And thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.